is up, everybody out there? This is episode 25 of Two Jersey Kids. I am the host of this evening, Adam Buckingham, alongside the best stick handler in the business, my co-host, my best friend, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
Yo, I am actually energized today because we are starting earlier on in the day. I know that you took off from work. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a secret or not, but you took off, and
yeah,
here we are.
I was feeling sick, had to take off. I'm feeling a little better. Got the fluids in me. Got some rest, extra sleep. Quality Netflix time while I'm chilling in bed, resting, and now I feel I have the energy to record this, and it's not going to be a struggle when trying to release it later in the night, which is sometimes a pain in the ass. But what have you been up to, Gary? Wait, before I do that, I have to go into the spiel. I just remembered.
Oh, of course.
You have to go into the spiel. This is Two Jersey Kids. I, being Adam, go through the spiel, the normal host. We are a video game podcast. We release 2 episodes each week, a Tuesday episode telling you the games releasing that week. We highlight games that we are fascinated by and maybe suggest looking at, For Honor being an example this past week. And also go through a topic or such submitted by you guys out there. If you want to submit, you can submit at Two Jersey Kids on Twitter. Or not, we have our own topics that we talk about. Because, you know what, if you don't want to submit, well, that's your damn fault. It's not our fault. You do it. But this is the Friday episode where we go through the news that has been going on throughout the week. And, yeah, we're in your ear holes right now. Take it in. Take the sound waves sliding in and out of your ear holes right now. It feels wonderful, doesn't it? We know. You love us. Gary, what have you been up to?
Well, so I've been playing. So this week's been kind of interesting. They've Destiny and Battlefield have both released like weapon tuners. It's like patches or significant patches. So I've played a little bit of Destiny. I haven't really played a lot in the past month or so.
Wait, you're back to Destiny? I thought you were done with it.
I really am not, to be honest with you, back in it. I played a couple games the other day, and getting back into that game after playing Battlefield for such an extended period of time is a complete disaster. But the way they changed the game is interesting. They really wanted to crack down on like special weapons and special ammo. So now when you die in Destiny in a multiplayer game, you lose special ammo. So it really creates an interesting like fight for special at all times, and it just changes the game too much, in my opinion.
Special ammo, is that the middle one? Is that like shotguns and snipers, if I remember correctly?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So it not that I relied on special weapons that much, but it just changes the game so much. I'm not sure how big I am on it, but I haven't played that many games.
So you don't have those sniper shotguns as much if you drop them.
Yeah, it's a lot of sidearm action now. A lot of people are using sidearms. It's a new weapon class added in, I think, with the Taken King. But that's, I haven't really played much of that, honestly. So I've been playing a little bit of Battlefield. They have another patch as well, so it was significant. They had a lot of rebalancing, nerfs, buffs, that sort of thing, which we'll obviously get into because that's one of the articles, coincidentally. But
funny enough.
What's up?
I said funny enough. That's all my comment. Keep going.
I thought you were about to explain something.
No.
But we'll get more into that actually a little bit later on. So what are you doing and what have you been doing? What have you been saving the world? What's been the deal here?
Saving the world? What do you mean? Well, if you wanted to know, I finally got through the Earthlock Festival of Magic, which you can check out. I didn't release it on the podcast feed because our podcast feed, it went longer than expected, and our podcast feed storage is valuable, and I don't want to take up space doing a review. So if you want to hear the review, it's 19 minutes long. If you're interested in Earthlock Festival of Magic, you can go to twojerseykids.com and check it out. You're going to leave a comment on that page to let me know how I did. And if you want to check it out, Earthlock, be my guest. If you're into JRPGs, that's basically my only recommendations. You're into that genre, so you check it out. Otherwise, maybe stay away. It's a mediocre game. Definitely good, I think, starting point for that developer, Snowcastle Games. But I think they have a little bit more work ahead of them if they're going to make it again. But that's about it. But I finally bit the bullet and decided I was debating on getting either For Honor or the Samurai Dark Souls game Neo, the exclusive for PS4, and I finally came to the conclusion that I really don't want to get frustrated too much. Well, actually, that's kind of hypocritical because I get frustrated at Neo, but I didn't want to get frustrated with playing against people online because that pisses me off even more. because that's ridiculous sometimes when you are fighting in For Honor and you lose. Maybe I'll if Gary finally decides to get For Honor or some multiplayer game that I'm interested in, maybe I'll bite the bullet and get it. Who knows? But I got if you didn't see, I tweeted out a picture of I defeated the first boss in Neo. I think that's how you pronounce it, which was pretty badass. It's like in a boat fight with fire all around you. It's really cool. It's basically Dark Souls, just in the samurai aesthetic, I guess you could say. The main difference is that there's different style of stances. So you have high, medium, and low stance. Low, you get more defense and you attack quicker. Medium is you're balanced, obviously. High, you do more attack, but you're slower, and you get hit harder when you get hit, and so you lose more damage. But I realized that I don't know what it is about this game, but I feel like the bosses are more difficult than Dark Souls, and that's kind of saying something. Dark Souls, at least, the bosses were more slow and plotting, kind of matched your, I guess, your maneuverability. However, in this game, Neo is more, which I enjoy. It's more fast-paced. It's less like trudging along and rolling slowly. And slow sword attacks. It's very rapid, quick attacks, kind of even faster than Bloodborne. But the difficult thing is that the bosses kind of correspond with that. So I'm on the second boss right now, which is like it's like a woman who's mixed with a spider and a bat, basically. It's kind of strange. The only thing that it's very strange, but she flies at you. I'm still trying to figure out how to beat her. She's just the second boss, but I'm enjoying it. I like that that style of game. It's very exploratory. A lot of things you can find, secret items, I guess, secret chests. It's basically about learning and progressing, and then once you finally beat the final boss, it's super rewarding. Honestly, the most rewarding thing, besides being the boss, which I find rewarding, is finding another separate path that makes your path a lot quicker to get to where you need to go. So you open like a locked door that was locked on the other side, or kick down a ladder, which makes it you're traversing a lot quicker to get to the boss area or to get to a certain area in the map. So this is really shockingly scratched the itch that I've been. Somehow, I didn't know what type of game scratched the itch. I was playing Final Fantasy 15 for a little bit. I do enjoy that game, but it wasn't scratching the itch that I wanted. And I guess I realize now that I really want like a difficult, exploratory Dark Souls style game, which I haven't had since Dark Souls 3. And now the new game came out. This game plays fluidly by Team Ninja. Kind of has a Ninja Gaiden style. Attack combat kind of feels like sometimes with the fancy ninja swords, and because I'm rocking dual wields because I'm a badass. But I'm really enjoying the game so far. I'm on the second boss. It seems like there's a long way to go for me, but I mean, it's pretty cool. You collect things. They're Amarita instead of souls. It has a lot of souls elements to the game. It's just. It has a different coat of paint on and moves more quickly. That's about it. So if you're into Dark Souls, I highly suggest checking it out. I know I'm a little late with that suggestion because I'm sure people have already checked it out. But yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a PS4 exclusive. Pretty good job on Sony's part. What's up, Gary?
Oh, no. I was just going to say that I desperately need a single-player game to get back into. I have been... If it's not like with my friends, I can't play Battlefield 1 or Destiny because both of those games... Yeah. I've gotten so used to working in a team.
Horizon.
Yeah, exactly. I've gotten so used to working in a team. I just need a game where I can just sit back by myself and play. I'm just so bored lately because like as soon as my friends get offline, it's like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Exactly.
I'm nervous right now. Is that this game is difficult, and I'm nervous it's going to be the same thing that happened in Dark Souls 3. I got really far in that game, got close to beating it, but then Uncharted 4 came out, and I had to stop everything to play that game, and I'm nervous that's what's going to happen with Horizon Zero Dawn, because Horizon Zero Dawn looks like a phenomenal game, and I'm pumped about it. So,
and you can always just have some more discipline and wait. Just play through the one game, then play through the other. See, that's the thing. I have to beat the game first before I jump into something else. Like that's just me.
There's a certain point where I feel that, but I feel that some people always debate on when's the right time to give up a game. My thing is if you're feeling that the game no longer pleases you, and it's kind of feels like more of a struggle to get through it, I say, you know what? The game's not worth to continue if it's really such a struggle. Just move on. That's my opinion. But I'm not right there in Neo right now, so maybe I'll give Horizon a wait. But the frustrating thing is going to be hearing people discuss it on Twitter or online, listening to people discuss how good it is, because I'm already hearing good things about it. That it's just going to be so difficult. I have no willpower when it comes to these things.
Yeah, I think the only time that I've actually just like kind of flip-flopped between games was like back in the Uncharted 2 Modern Warfare 2 days. I remember it was like right at Christmas, and I was just playing like nonstop video games, and it was just I would play like Modern Warfare 2 for hours, and then flip over to Uncharted 2. It was great. It was the best. I kind of miss those days.
I remember those days of waking up on Christmas knowing that you're going to get a few games, and it's just so much excitement. And, well, my mom liked to troll me back in the day before trolls were actually a thing online. She would put them in like a clothing box. So I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was expecting like a sweater or something, and then we open it up and there's games. I guess she just didn't have any other boxes, so she's like, F it, I'm gonna put it in here.
Or she was trying to screw with you.
Yeah, trying to mess with me. I think that's more likely, Yeah. But shall we move on to the next segment, which you remember this week, Gary? What are we doing?
Well, folks, I finally remembered to do This Week in Gaming. And it wasn't like 5 minutes before that I remembered. I actually remembered it like yesterday. So, congratulations to me.
Well, I didn't see you put it in the Google Doc until today.
Well, I remembered to do it yesterday, and then I added it today. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, This Week in Gaming. So first up, I have Rome Total War Gold Edition was released on Windows back in 2006. I have a friend that I actually played hockey with who was huge into these games. He would play only PC games, and he played a ton of this game. He actually let me borrow one of those games I actually have up there. I haven't really played much of it, but he was really into like strategy, warfare type games. So if you're interested, you can always go back and play this game, I'm sure. Next up, I have ESPN NFL Primetime, released on Xbox 2002. Now, worth noting is that the next year, NFL 2K3 was partnered with ESPN. So apparently, NFL Primetime wasn't really the best. And
I didn't even know ESPN had their own football game back when there was a bunch of, I guess, competition with football games.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I had no idea either, and it was very interesting. But apparently, according to the reviews, it got like a 5.5 out of 10. So it really didn't perform anywhere near.
2K, come help us.
Exactly. So, last but not least, is Star Wars X-Wing was released for DOS. Yes, you heard that right. DOS in 1993. So, I never really this game's obviously a little bit before my time. I was born this year, so I guarantee I wasn't playing this game when it was released. So, I was looking at a video on YouTube, and this game is insane looking, especially the intro. It reminds me of like a lot of I'm trying to figure out what game it reminds me of, but it reminds me of like a lot of the indie games today that are trying to emulate no, seriously, like it reminds me of like some of the indie games today that are trying to emulate that old art style. It just kind of like, triggered that. But anyway, the game's pretty sick looking.
Is that what the little kids are saying today? I don't know.
Yeah, it's apparently it's a meme thing, but yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
But the intro looked pretty cool. The gameplay was pretty dated, but awesome nonetheless. So that concludes This Week in Gaming, and I remember that.
He did his homework finally. Moving on to the news that came out this week. We're starting off with Valve is training AI to detect Counter-Strike cheaters. Nathan Grayson over at Kotaku writes, "There's nothing worse than going on a tear in Counter-Strike only to get gunned down by some asshole who's spinning around one-tapping everybody." I'm pretty certain one-tapping is just shooting one shot and dropping somebody. He's obviously cheating. Why hasn't he been caught? According to Valve, it's complicated, but they're working on a new system to bust fun killers. First, here's the reason Valve hasn't augmented their Overwatch, not to be confused with the game, anti-cheat system, which has qualified players review reports of suspected cheaters after the fact with auto-detection software for obvious cheaters like spin bots. Quote, some bad news, end quote, said Valve on Reddit. Quote, any hard-coded detection of spinning botting leads to an arms race with cheat developers. If they can find the edges of the heuristic you're using to detect the cheat, the problem comes back, end quote. Valve's solution, machine learning. Reason being, machine learning, unlike other automated solutions, isn't static. It's a kind of AI that parses data and, well, learns from it over time, adapting its behaviors in the process. So why isn't this system busting every cheater already? Because it's extremely complicated in a game like Counter-Strike. Quote, the process of parsing, training, and classifying player data places serious demand on hardware, which means you want a machine other than the server doing the work, explained Valve. They continued, quote, and because you don't know ahead of time who might be using this kind of cheat, you'd have to monitor matches as they take place from all 10 players' perspective. There are over 1 million Counter-Strike Go matches played every day, so to avoid falling behind, you need a system capable of parsing and processing every demo of every match from every player's perspective, which currently means you need a data center capable of powering thousands of CPU cores. Valve added. That seems like a lot, Gary. All that said, an early version of the system is currently in the game, and it's apparently already yielding results. Quote, the good news is that we've started this work. An early version of the system has already been deployed and is submitting cases to Overwatch. Since the results have been promising, we're going to continue this work and expand on the system over time. End quote. They want to release the AI machines. Sooner or later, there are going to be Terminators running around, stopping all these cheaters, busting down their doors.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's one game that I can think of that needs this, it would be Destiny. Because when I played that game a lot, I can't tell you how many times they tried to adjust the game. They'd be like, oh, we're adding in more, we're adding in like a damage referee, which is like this fancy word they use for like I guess to monitor lag. Basically, people that lag in that game, they get an advantage on everybody else. As weird and ridiculous as that sounds, they'll lag and they'll basically be unkillable and can kill you, and you can't do anything about it.
But is that really cheating? That's more just a poor connection.
Some people have used it to their advantage. Some people, it's definitely unfortunate they have bad connections, but some people have purposely done that. So I think the idea,
from what I see online, I think cheaters are actually a large issue in Counter-Strike Go, and I think any multiplayer online game that's that widely played, you're going to always have these developers that want to cheat the system for some reason. I don't know. Is that fun for people to be the best? I know that pissed me off playing Halo 2 and people were modding or standbying, whatever that was fucking called, which annoyed the shit out of me. It's like, what's the point? I mean, I like the idea of this, but I know some people are down here in the comment section are kind of like iffy on it. Some people are wondering if, like, for example, the Nanoraptor down here was wondering if innocent people in the game are going to be kicked because this AI interprets their behavior, erroneously as cheating. Well, that seems like some dumb fucking AI if they gets confused.
Yeah. I mean, but there can always be errors, though, and always be bugs in the system. But I like the idea of it personally. I think it'd be something that I think a lot of gaming companies should probably look into going forward. At least if you're doing like a PvP online game, or not just PvP, obviously, but like a competitive online game, it's definitely needed.
Agreed. Moving on. Is the Switch's HD Rumble feature a big deal for devs? Miyamoto thinks so. Says, I don't know who wrote this article. Chris Kerr over Gamasutra. Thank you, Gary. In a recent interview with Time, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto was quizzed about Nintendo's new hybrid console, the Switch. The veteran designer served up more than a few interesting tidbits, chatting about everything from the Japanese giant's enduring creative philosophy and the more technical aspects of the device. Honing in on the latter, Miyamoto was asked to explain why Nintendo has doubled down on haptic feedback this time around, with both of the Switch's Joy-Con controllers featuring advanced vibration tech in form of HD Rumble. Quote, first of all, I can't say for certain that HD Rumble is going to create something completely original, but I can say that the sensation HD Rumble provides is completely new, explained Miyamoto. He continues, what's incredible is that it's not just this monotone vibration, but you feel the taps. So when you put your pen on the screen, it's not just this dull vibration. You can feel the tap that the tip of the pen makes on the screen. Right now, there's this idea that 60 frames per second graphics is the standard speed for modern video games. If you were, for example, to make something that ran at 20 frames per second, someone would get mad at you. End quote. It's all about interactivity then. That's why a quick response time is important. Comparing the tech to virtual reality, Miyamoto reiterates that latency can have huge ramifications, and with HD Rumble, the latency is different, so it can provide a quote a unique experience. End quote. You can find gives a full audio interview on time. But Gary, does the HD Rumble get I'm not going to go there. Let's get you excited about Nintendo Switch.
No.
No?
I
don't want to feel the ice cubes in the cup?
Dude, I mean, I guess I would have to see how this is implemented to understand, I guess, to really see what the benefits are. Like, I mean, I don't understand how this is really important. I'm looking down. Well, once again, I'm going to go to the comment section to the one comment that
because we can't have any original thoughts, apparently, Gary.
Well, this supports exactly what I'm saying. So basically, thanks to Tristan Pelipich, he says that article is a really good read. Not sure on the importance of this particular technology, but Miyamoto definitely has some interesting ideas. It's an interesting idea, but I don't understand why this is important to the console or why it's necessary. So.
Did this jack up the price of the console because they put money into research and development for something that is unnecessary? I don't know.
It's very possible. Is it a gimmick? Maybe. Maybe it is.
I mean, maybe when we get the Switch in our hands, we're like, oh my God, what have we been missing? I love these new vibration on my hands.
My life is complete.
What?
my life is complete now.
My life is complete because of HD Rumble. I'm just going to move on from that. Moving on, Pokemon Go's huge new update might bring you back to the game. Allegra Frank over at Polygon writes, Pokemon Go is getting a gigantic update this week. Developer, I've never been able to say this developer's name correctly. Niantic has announced a total of 80 new Pokemon from the second generation of games will begin to appear in the mobile game, along with several other new features. Johto Pokemon from the starter trio Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, haven't said those names in a while, and beyond will now be available in the wild. To accompany the new Pokemon, Pokemon Go will also receive new evolutionary items and berries. The evolutionary items will help players complete their Johto collections, while the berries will make battles feel a little more challenging. The Nanab berry and the Pineapple Berry are the two new berry items in Trainer's arsenal. The Nanop Berry will slow Pokemon down so it's less likely for them to run off, while the Pineapple Berries help players collect twice as much candy upon a successful catch. On a more superficial level, increased customization options will be available for purchase for some reason. Trainers will be able to further customize their looks, so now not everyone will have to walk around wearing the same outfit. Thank God! That's me putting sarcasm into it. This update may not introduce the long-requested multiplayer and trading features, but Pokemon Go sounds like it has at least 80 more reasons to start checking it out again. New Pokemon may not diversify the gameplay, but the additional items sound like they'll shake things up just enough to make 2016's big hit feel a bit fresher. Gary, does that get your dick hard? I finally decided to say it this time.
Yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, I don't know.
Sorry, family who listened to this podcast that I just did that.
You should damn well be sorry.
I get excited sometimes.
I'm wondering if, I should say, if this is actually going to bring back a lot of people that play the game, or if it's just going to cater to the people that are like diehard Pokemon Go fans. Like, obviously it was like a big hit when it first came out. Like, I remember just seeing random people walking around in like just these random places getting Pokemon.
Yeah,
but,
I remember I would get interactive with people asking which team I was on. Team Blue, yeah. I forget what it was called. Mystic? Was that what it was called? I don't fucking remember.
I think you're right. I only played that game for about 5 minutes. No joke. I just don't like. Is it really going to? Was it a one-hit wonder? I guess is what I'm asking, or is it going to actually bring a lot of people back? I think it's actually just going to cater to the people that are these diehard Pokemon Go fans that just play this game nonstop.
I feel like it'll definitely bring some people back because I think a lot of people are really fond of Pokemon Gold and Silver, the second iteration or second generation Pokemon. From I don't know. I just remember hearing a lot of my friends back in Jersey. They liked Gold and Silver the most. I was originalist, and I like the blue and red. But who cares about my opinion right now? It's not like you're listening to me on a podcast or anything. Suck it. But but I know a lot of people do enjoy Gold and Silver, so this may bring the nostalgia of people back to collect these 80 additional Pokemon. It gives people more of a reason to go walking around. Will they get fed up after seeing a bunch of Pidgeys all around? Who knows? But I mean, I feel like it'll bring people back, along with the maybe it'll bring the new berry edition, the 2 berries. I don't know how much that'll affect people being interested in the game, along with the customization features. I honestly did not care that my trainer looked generic AF. That wasn't why I played it. I wasn't like, oh man, I really wish he had purple hair or something. Oh man.
Well, I mean,
I'm not gonna pay $1 to change a virtual avatar's hair.
Aren't you supposed to be the trainer or whatever the hell you call them? Like, aren't you supposed to be that person? Like, who cares about the guy in the actual...
I'm the fucking Pokemon trainer.
Exactly.
Now, if they can get the feature where if you bought the hair and your hair magically changed in real life as you're walking around playing this and then went away after you, stopped playing, now that I would pay $1 for. Let's be real.
That'd be pretty cool. No, I mean, I guess people are always bored and also really attached to their phones and also like Pokemon. So maybe you're right. Maybe a lot of people will come back and start playing this game again. Although it is winter. Maybe I guess winter here. I guess not in like California because we have a lot of fans out there in California. Am I right? Maybe.
California, it's time to party in the city. Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I'm spent. Let's keep it going.
You're spent. Moving on. Amazon opens new game studio led by EverQuest creator John Smeldy? Sure. EverQuest co-creator... sorry. Michael McWhorter... I got excited to read the article. Michael McWhorter over at Polygon writes, EverQuest co-creator John Smeldy is leading a new... What?
I was going to say it's John Smedley, I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
I like Schmeldy.
Schmeldy?
Yeah, Schmeldy. John Schmeldy.
It's more humorous.
John Schmeldy is leading a new San Diego-based studio for Amazon Game Studios, the company announced today. Schmeldy, previously the president of Sony Online Entertainment and Daybreak Game Company, will lead an, quote, all-new team, end quote, in San Diego on an unannounced title. In a release, Amazon said Schmeldy's, quote, ambitious new project will tap into the power of the AWS cloud and Twitch to connect players around the globe in a thrilling new game world, end quote. Quote, John's pioneering work helped define the modern MMO, and his influence can be felt in thousands of games that followed. He helped create the blueprint for fusing massive game world with vibrant player communities, a vision that we share at Amazon Game Studio, end quote. Amazon says Amazon Game Studio San Diego's project is still quote, early days, end quote. Schmeldy stepped down as CEO and president of Daybreak Company in 2015. Later that year, he founded Pixel, I think that's supposed to be Pixel Image. It's like a combination. Founded Pixel Image Games, which created action role-playing games Hero Song. In 2016, both Pixel Image Games and Hero Song shut down. So, I don't know if that bodes that well. But it's interesting seeing Amazon branching out and trying new things and hiring people of some caliber, I guess. The mind behind EverQuest. He hasn't really. I don't know if he's done anything since EverQuest, developed anything more. Used that mind to create something new and refreshing, because it doesn't seem like it. This seems like I don't know. It seems like when you bring out an old director to direct a new movie. Who made a great movie in the past, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll make a great movie. For example, M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, that train wreck Avatar movie. Oh my god. Oh, that was garbage. But that was the analog that I was thinking of. Go, Gary.
No, I do find it interesting how these companies, like especially, I guess you can call them IT companies, possibly. I don't know what the correct term for them would be. Maybe tech companies, but like Google, for example, they have been branching out from their original purpose into doing like making computers and even operating systems and internet browsers and phones. And, Apple, obviously, there's always been rumors that they're building their car, which would be very interesting.
Yeah.
But
they're taking over the world, Gary.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I keep hearing Amazon. I've read in the past about how Amazon wants to open up actual physical locations like clothing stores.
Yeah, and grocery stores. Have you seen the Amazon Go thing, which is kind of cool? Correct,
yeah. And I just don't know I don't know how that fits. Like, does it really fit their original purpose? Like, can they, like, especially with the physical store, like, it conflicts so much with what they originally, like, with their...
They're trying to diversify.
True, I understand that, but it's just like Amazon is an online retailer. Now, if they build a physical location store, are people going to go there? Because, like, you think of Amazon, you think of an online retailer. Will it be successful? So
So are you knocking them for trying to do something new?
No, but I'm just saying I don't understand. I don't know if
do you not like change, Gary?
All right, first of all, stop filling my mouth with words that you are creating. But
I'll fill you with something. All right.
Maybe it'll work out in the game department. Who knows? Why are you doing this to me? I don't know. Maybe it'll work out in the game development area. Who knows?
Oh God. Sorry. No, I'm just going to move on. Good thoughts, Gary. This is why I keep you around. If you wanted to know, Xbox Live Gold, Rocket League, and NBA 2K17 are free this weekend, February 16th to the February 19th. I didn't feel like reading an article because it's just unnecessary filler. That's the necessary information. Gary, you're going to read the next one. Are you excited?
Oh, I am very excited. Very excited because it's Battlefield 1, and let's face it, I play Battlefield 1 quite frequently now. So, in an article from Eurogamer.net published by Martin Robinson, basically he's talking about the Battlefield 1 winter update, which introduces ribbons and it raises the class level cap. So basically he writes, I'll just kind of read a short excerpt. Actually, I don't even think our article's that long, so bear with me. Battlefield 1's incoming winter update will be introducing a new way to earn XP, with ribbons being awarded for in-game feats. Alongside the feature, which is returning from older Battlefield games, the class levels are having their cap raised from 10 to 50, and it's now possible to vote on maps at the end of a match. The headline... Oh, God. Oh, wait, no. That wasn't me, guys. That was a typo in this article. I spotted one. Editors, man.
Good
Editors.
job.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Who knows?
Okay, so the additions reading these articles, isn't it, Gary?
No. Well,
yeah, it is.
It's not hard to read.
Struggling.
Thank you.
You're struggling now. You see why you need me.
Yeah, sure enough. Anyway, so this Battlefield 1 update, I've played it a little bit, and I don't think the game is drastically changed. So for anyone that's like, hoping for like these crazy changes that like, just change the face of the game, you're not going to get that. But there had been some weapon rebalancing that have taken place. So like the Hell Regal, for example, has been brought into balance a little bit more. I know they added some horizontal recoil, so the gun isn't just like firing on a straight line. I don't really know if it changed it that much. I was using it recently on the Assault class. Obviously, it's the only class you can play that with that gun. But I was playing with the Hell Regal, and I don't really see too much of a crazy change. They also changed the Stelb Statter 1906. It's a rifle, medic rifle.
It sounds like a tournament bracket that's going on in Battlefield 1.
I know, right? They buffed that gun as well. I know they changed the damage and everything on that, and it's okay. I mean, I heard some people really raving on about it, but I still think the other Stelb Splatter is a better option. They nerfed gas grenade duration, so it's not as annoying anymore, even though people still spam the fuck out of gas grenades because they can't win a gunfight, but that's just my personal gripe. What else do we? What else?
I think Gary is not a fan of gas grenades. If you want to know,
dude, it's just because people spam them constantly.
That reminds me of like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, COD 4 Modern Warfare. How noob tubes were a thing.
Oh my
annoyed
God!
The shit out of me. If you guys didn't know, if you're too young and you're listening to this, which I don't know who is, but you may be. Back when in COD 4, every time a game mode started up, people that would have grenade launchers would just start launching grenades across the opposite map and try to hit the spawn point and hit somebody as they're running. It was the most frustrating fucking thing when you're playing Search and Destroy and you only have one life and you get hit by this stupid fucking noob tube, as we like to call it. But
my
thought with the update is they're moving the level cap or class cap to 10 to 50.
Yeah,
that seems like a drastic change. And why did they put it at 10? That seems low when they're just going to change it to 50.
I don't really know. I'm not really an expert on this game. I will say that, first of all. But I don't really know. I think they raised the cap level to 50 just for the battle packs, I think. Because what happens is once you get to 10, I think you unlock all your weapons in that specific class. And I think going to 50, you just get additional battle packs as time goes on, which the battle packs obviously have like weapon skins and customizations and stuff like that. So the battle packs
stop after you get to level 10?
Well, no, I think that's the whole purpose of raising the cap level. You continually get like extra additional battle packs. I think that's how it's working. Don't quote me on that, but
we're quoting.
I was a little confused on that as well. I'm not really sure. I mean, that wasn't really that important to me personally, but I have a couple more things to mention, or at least one more thing. They apparently changed. So in that game, you know how I'm not sure if you played, Adam, but they have like the special kits where you can become like a tank hunter or like a sentry, for example. Well, now, which is amazing, they've adjusted the health regen on sentries, for example, or tank hunters. Uh-huh. So basically, if you get hit by like a couple shots and your health level's at 20, now it just regens like a normal soldier, from what I'm hearing. So you're not. Which is a huge problem because as a sentry or tank hunter, you're dealing more damage than a typical class would. So it's very annoying. Like sentries, you walk around with a big, heavy machine gun and just spray into like a direction and kill everybody.
That seems dumb to have them regen like soldiers.
Yeah. Well,
seems like it should have just permanent health, so you only last a certain amount of time, but it's not overpowered. But
well, before they had the permanent health, but basically, if you had like a medic follow you around, he could just keep feeding you health, which was logical. That would be strategic, you know. Yeah. But now it's just dumb. I feel like it just caters to people that are terrible and need to like hide with a sentry the entire game. But that's just me.
Oh shit!
I'm calling out all the shitty players.
Oh shit! You all are garbage according to Gary.
1v1 me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh God, I remember. That reminds me of an old story when I was playing Halo 3. I think I told you about. Was it Halo 3? No, it was Halo 2 actually. Do you remember me telling you this story back in the day?
I think so. There's so many of these stories where you 1v1 a person.
I remember playing. I think it was like Snipers or some bullshit game or something, and we fucking destroyed this other team. This kid was randomly sent me like the classic Xbox 360 message or Xbox message saying I'm garbage. I want to 1v1 you. It could be Halo 3 or Halo 2, either way. And he wanted to do a dual snipers match. Let's just say I beat him 10-0. It was up to 10. I fucking shut him out. Shut that little bitch boy's face. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Suck it. Whoever
There's
you
nothing
are,
better than that.
You know who you are.
I love that stuff because I played a guy one time. It was an NHL 3-on-3 arcade, right? Now, I used to play that game like a lot, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of cared about winning and losing that game for some reason.
I think we ended up being like, because we played so much when when you came over to my house. Is that our record when we would switch off? We were like 70 and 20 some. It was insane.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I played a guy one night and beat him 10-0. It was like that was one of the trophies in that game. I platinumed that game, but I didn't get a platinum trophy because they didn't have one for that game.
100%ed it.
But yeah, beat the guy 10-0, and he messaged me afterward. And he's like, "Dude, you're so like." He was like talking shit to me, and I'm like, "Dude, I just beat you 10-0. What do you have to say? What possible thing are you telling me that I suck at this point?"
That's always the greatest thing is when you insult the fan. Like when you go, that's like the scoreboard chant is when you have fans at the other when you're going to a home game and you have fans from the other team like screaming, yelling, and you're just crushing the other team, and you just start chanting the scoreboard. It's awesome. It's greatness.
Yes, sir.
Even though their family members just rooting on their team. But I hate that. You can't. No compassion. Moving on. Twitch viewers watched 292 billion minutes of live streams in 2016. Dean Takahashi over at VentureBeat writes, Amazon Twitch live streaming service had a big year in 2016, and the company celebrated it by creating an interactive retrospective of the year that plays like a side-scrolling adventure game. The most watched clip of 2016 is this one with over it's a click thing. I don't know. Gary, click it and tell me what it is. With over 880,000 plays during the year, viewers watched 292 billion minutes of view. Typo. There were more than 2.2 million unique streamers. Twitch users sent 14.2 billion chat messages. There were 590 million bits cheered, where fans can give streamers rewards for entertaining streams. 153 million whispers were sent. More than 1 million free channel subscription were used. 413 million kappas, or graphic emoticons, were used, and 10% of chats used auto mode or moderation. Overwatch was the most watched game, and Finland made the most use of friends for connecting with friends. Friends, the capital, connecting with friends. I guess it's a thing in Twitch. I don't know too much about Twitch, even though I did set up a channel, which I need to get back to. Twitch also raised more than $25 million for charity. And if you go, you can find the interactive retrospect for Twitch link. Gary, what was that video?
It was a Pokemon Go video.
Oh,
Go figure.
Shit.
Hey,
bring it around town. Hey, oh, hey.
I will say this. I love Twitch, dude. I don't know if you watch a lot of it, but I
watch Critical Role on Twitch, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I watch. Well, back when I used to play Destiny a lot, I watched Real Crafty and a lot. Basically, exclusively Real Crafty. He was
Real
like
Crafty, y'all.
Yeah, he was like one of the best players in the game, and he was a really cool dude. A lot of fun to listen to. He was funny. But I've been struggling now to find something else to watch on Twitch, I have to say. Like, I've been watching every now and then. I'll tune into Battlefield a little bit, but that game, like, it's not something I can really watch someone stream. It's just not that.
But
like,
you can watch
fast-paced.
Destiny?
Well, yeah, because like in Destiny, it was always like a fast-paced action. The games are shorter. In Battlefield, like, it's a long, drawn-out battle. I guess I could get into watching one of those streamers, but it's just different.
I do like how Twitch has evolved, and it seems like Amazon is not trying to put their stamp on Twitch when they originally bought it. I thought they were going to input like some bullshit, I don't know, like what Google did with YouTube, where you have to sign in with a Google account and everything and all that, try to put their stamp on YouTube, or they put their stamp on YouTube, where Amazon seems like they bought it and kind of just are implementing like help for Twitch, but not overly just placing their product or Amazon-ness into Twitch, if that makes any sense. But I also like how Twitch has evolved, where it's now not just video game streams itself. There's like game talk show or talk shows basically about games. There's different like people. I see people playing board games. There's D&D campaigns run, like the one I was talking about, Critical Role, which is by Geek and Sundry, which I'm going to plug for. It's really good. If you're into D&D, these are just 6 or 7. Well, actually, when it first started, it was 8, but you can find it on YouTube when you search. But they're video game voice actors who actually play D&D. So it's really cool because the DM is awesome. He's actually the main character, or he's the main voice behind the main character in Titanfall 2, Matthew Mercer. But he's the DM. He does all these crazy voices, and they get into the character because they're voice actors for video games. I think I've mentioned this to you, Gary. One of the actors in it was the Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
They get really into it. I like it, so if you're in D&D, check it out. But it goes to my point of how people have adapted Twitch for different avenues of entertainment, which is kind of cool.
And by the way, I just want to mention, I'm not sure if you looked at the picture for this article, but Twitch fact number 8. Stardew Valley was easily the most popular whimsical farm simulator streaming on Twitch.
That seems like a very specific category.
I know, yeah, it definitely is, but that game's awesome. I just wanted to give a shout out to that game because I love that game, and I haven't played much of it lately, but I might. I'm not sure if I would start that game over.
That's like us saying, for the best podcast based on 2 Jersey kids named Adam and Gary, that goes to the 2 Jersey Kids podcast. Sorry. Shall I move on after that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Valve kills Steam Greenlight, and here's why it matters. Alex Hearn over at The Guardian writes, market-dominating PC game store Steam is ending the X Factor-style voting system it has used for the past 5 years to decide which independent developers can sell on the storefront. Valve, the company behind Steam, will replace the program with a simpler system which guarantees access to any developer who can pay an application fee. Previously, developers below a certain size could use the program called Greenlight to put their games up for the public. Those with enough votes would be allowed space on the web store while those that failed to excite potential customers were kept behind the velvet rope. The system was intended to prevent a stream of shovelware from flooding the Steam store by ensuring that only those games that would secure reasonable sales could make it to the store. But it still failed to prevent the store breaking its bank. 38% of the games on the store were released in 2016 alone, an explosion in content. That forced Valve to reassess what the store was for, leading to an introduction of new discovery mechanisms designed to improve upon an interface largely unchanged from the days when Steam had fewer than 100 games on it. Those mechanisms include curators such as YouTube personalities and game journalists who can recommend specific games to their followers, as well as an algorithmic recommendation system which suggests games based on purchase history, game playtime, and friends' activity. With the new discovery features working, Valve says Greenlight is no longer an accessory as it was. No longer a necessary as it was. Okay. Quote, Greenlight exposed two key problems we still needed to address: improving the entire pipeline for bringing new content to Steam and finding more ways to connect customers with the types of content they want, end quote, the company said in a blog post, continuing, quote, to solve these problems, a lot of work was done behind the scenes where we overhauled the developer publishing tools in Steamworks to help developers get closer to their customers. Other work has been much more visible, such as the discovery updates and the introduction of features like user reviews, discovery queues, user tags, streamlined refunds, and Steam curators, end quote. Replacing Greenlight will be a more direct application process for developers called Steam Direct. The votes are gone, and in their place, developers will have to pay a publishing fee to Valve as well as complete some, quote, digital paperwork, end quote. The fee is up in the air. The Valve mooting figures between with Valve mooting. I don't know what that means, but I've never heard that word before, but, you know. Moving on. With Valve mooting figures between $100 and $5,000, while it promises the paperwork will be no more complex than applying for a bank account. Oh, because that's so easy. The fee will be recoupable, according to Valve, suggesting that it won't eat into developers' profit margins, but will be a larger barrier for those without access to capital or those developers who don't expect to turn much of a profit at all for their games. Valve notes that, quote, there are pros and cons at either end of the spectrum, so we'd like to gather more feedback before settling on a number, end quote. Other than the fee, developers will see only a cursory check of their game before it goes live, quote, to ensure the game runs on the operating system, it says it does, and that there is some game type, end quote, according to VentureBeat, but the end result should be to turn the Steam store into something more like Apple's App Store or Google Play Store, where the major filter lies at a point of getting the game on store, but at the point of getting attention once it's there. I have 2 points before you go, Gary. One, reading this article, fucking British people spelling program with an extra M and E, fucking bullshit. And also, I don't like the idea of them trying to change their store into the Apple or Google Play Store. Because if you go onto those stores, there's a cacophony of bullshit games that no one ever plays or reaches. There's quality games there, but that you don't ever see them. I don't know if that's due to the fact that they're people, when looking for mobile games, are mostly looking for free-to-play games and they ignore the paid games. But for me personally, I don't like the store where it's a bunch of things that it's hard to find what you want. I guess they have some discovery features, but I don't know how well they will work when there's more and more games added. If it's to the size of that the Apple Store is or the Google Play Store. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Gary?
My only issue, I guess, with this, I mean, I don't really know how everything's going to play out in the end, but my only real issue with this is the fee that they're talking about. I mean, you're like, oh, it's going to be somewhere between 100 and 5,000. Well, that's kind of a
for indie developers. That's a large gap.
Exactly. So where exactly is that going to fall, and is that actually going to limit the amount of developers that are going to be able to, basically promote their games and sell their games? That's my question. But I mean, I don't really like. I mean, there's just so many different things that are involved in this. Then obviously changing this, but that would be my personal gripe. I don't really know. That's basically it.
Seems like QA for these type of games are going to be even more difficult when you're just allowing them based on a price point to be on the Steam store, and not. It seems like there's less of a barrier for these basically garbage games to get onto the Steam store. But I don't know. That's just my thought.
I mean, I guess like with the fee, back to the fees and everything. I mean, maybe like they'll have like a structure where certain games, depending on what type of game it is, maybe how big the game is, they'll like charge different amounts. I guess maybe. I don't know how that's going to work, but
maybe it's based on developer reputation. Jesus, I can't even say that word. Maybe it's based on developer reputation if they've produced well games before or profit-making games. I don't know how they're going to go about this process. So it'll be interesting to see in the future. And to continue on with the Valve trend that we're going to keep going with, because we have 2 more articles relating to Valve. Valve has no interest in making console games. Jeffrey Matuluf over Your Gamer writes, it sounds like Valve has no interest in making console games. Crazy enough, I just said that. Quote, we get really frustrated working in walled gardens. Quote, end quote. Valve founder Gabe Newell said at Media Roundtable at Valve's offices attended by Eurogamer. Valve released a plethora of console games in the last generation, including the Orange Box, Portal 2, both Left 4 Dead games, and Counter-Strike Go. The current generation of consoles is selling even better relative to how far along its lifespan it is. So why is Valve yet to get stuck in? Quote, ow, that kind of hurt my ears. I heard a feedback from me saying quote. It just popped in my sorry people. Quote, so you try to talk to somebody who's doing product planning on a console about free-to-play games, and they say, oh, we're not sure free-to-play is a good idea, and you're like the last ship has left. End quote, Newell said of the cultural differences working with console developers after specializing in PC. A couple of Valve's big games are free-to-play, including massive MOBA Dota 2 and competitive shooter Team Fortress 2. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, however, remains £12. Left 4 Dead is £15. I think that's pounds. Yeah. Quote, there have been cases where we've updated products 5 to 6 times in a day. When we did the original iOS of Steam app, we shipped it, we got a whole bunch of feedback, and like the next day, we're ready to do an update. We weren't able to get that update out for 6 months, and we couldn't find out why they wouldn't release it. They wouldn't tell us, this is the life that you have in these environments, and finally they shipped it, and they wouldn't tell us why they finally shipped it. So for us, while we're spending all of our time trying to be as tunnel vision in this loop with our customers, to all of a sudden have this completely uncertainty about doing updates like we don't know how to operate, we're just too stupid to know how to be successful, to be a successful iOS developer. Because for us, everything we do is to make our lives easier, build tools to make other software developers' lives easier. We don't know how to do what we do. I'm sure that other people are wildly successful in those environments, but sort of our DNA tend to not work well when someone is trying to insert a lot of process between us and our customers.
By the way, if you were confused reading that article, believe me, I was too, because it was fine up until like the very end there, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, we're just too stupid to know how to be a successful iOS developer. I'm like, oh, okay, these are jokes we're reading. But anyway, I was going to – the question I wrote into our Google Docs, I'm like, is PC Master Race really true? Is that possible? But I don't know. I feel like – is it possible that consoles are kind of harder to develop than PCs? I think it might be the case. But
I think the main issue from what I gathered from this article is that they weren't a fan of that gap between updating or from them doing something for a console game and then finally getting the update or playback or feedback on what they need to do or accomplish that update. That's what the main thing I'm getting from that. Maybe they're power hungry now that they own Steam, that they can do these updates rather snappy. If you couldn't hear my snaps, I don't know. That's the basic thing behind it. So it's kind of frustrating because I was looking forward to more console games from Valve, like a Left 4 Dead 3. I know a lot of people want Half-Life 3 out there, but I don't know. Any more thoughts before we move on to the final Valve article?
Yeah, just keep going.
Just keep going? You sure?
Yeah, keep rolling. Yeah, keep rolling.
Valve is making 3 full VR games. Brian Ashcraft over at Kotaku writes, not 1, not 2, not 3. Quote, when I said we're building 3 games, we're building 3 full games, not experiments, end quote. Valve's Gabe Newell told Your Gamer. Quote, one of the questions you might be asking, why in the world would you be making hardware? What we can do now is we can be designing hardware at the same time we're designing software, end quote. Newell explained that since Valve is co-creating a VR system, their approach is similar to how Nintendo makes new hardware and games at the same time. Quote, this is something that Miyamoto has always had. He's had the ability to think about what the input device is and design a system while he designs games. Our sense is that this will actually allow us to build much better entertainment experiences for people, end quote. These upcoming VR games are being developed in Valve's own Source 2 and Unity. I like the comment by Mario on the comments where he states Half-Life 3 episodes 1, 2, and 3 confirmed. I just thought that was funny, him mentioning the conspiracies about Half-Life 3 finally coming out, which I feel like it's just never going to ever come out.
So I guess, so Valve is creating their own VR system and they're designing games at the same time. That's what the deal is here.
Basically the gist. I think they're co-creating the VR system. Continue.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's interesting. We don't really know anything about the games though, but I wonder what the games are actually going to be. Obviously, some people are speculating they have life, like you just said, but it's virtual reality still. I don't know. I'm not sold.
Are you not?
Sorry.
Not sold?
Well, how am I not? Well, I don't really know anything about what they're actually doing yet. Like it's such a preliminary thing. I feel like they're telling us that they're making 3 games, but you don't really.
I think they're partnering with HTC Vive. Just FYI.
That's why they have the Vive picture, I guess, in this article. Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Oh, we're so smart. Moving on. Yeah. Unreal Engine gets native Nintendo Switch support. Jeff Grubb over at VentureBeat writes, one of the industry's most popular game-making tools is getting a wave of improvements, as well as support for a major upcoming console. Epic Games is updating its Unreal Engine toolkit to version 4.15. This is a toolkit that many developers use to build 3D games on consoles, PC, and mobile platforms. Games that use Unreal include Oceanhorn 2 for iOS, Xbox, Gears of War 4, and Virtual Reality Experiment Showdown VR. But as part of the 4.15 update, Unreal is also getting native support for Nintendo's upcoming hybrid handheld home Switch console. Snake Pass, a 3D puzzler, runs on Unreal Engine and is coming to Switch on March 29th. There's additional updates to this, but I think the main point is that Nintendo is actually you're able to develop games from the Unreal Engine to the Nintendo Switch, and maybe that makes developing for the Nintendo Switch, I guess, easier than having to use the tools that Nintendo give you.
Yeah, I mean, it's good in a sense that they're opening the door for other developers to design games that they want to make or how they want to do them. So, yeah, opening the door for different, more variety. Go figure.
Is the Nintendo Switch turning you around, Gary? Are you going to become a fanboy soon?
Well, in this next article you're about to read, maybe I'll elaborate more on that because it kind of feeds into it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Moving on. Are you making Nintendo Switch games? Japanese developer answer that question and more. Brian Ashcraft over at Kotaku writes. Not really writes. I thought it was kind of cool. He polled a bunch of Japanese developers about the Nintendo Switch. He had 8 questions, so I guess go through them rather quickly. Are you currently developing any games for the Nintendo Switch? That was the first question. 54% said currently developing. 25% are saying thinking about it. 17% says not developing. 4% says no answer. Question 2. In the future, do you have plans to release any games on the Twitch? 46% say yes. 46% say thinking about it. 4% say not at the moment. And 4% say no answer. I feel like that 4% are just saying, I'm not fucking answering any questions. Question 3. After Nintendo Switch reveal, do you feel that players are excited about it? 50% said yes. 38% says can't say either way, so non-committal. 8% say no. 4% say no answer. Oh, God, that's funny. What's your take on the price? 67% say appropriate. 25% say cheap. 4% say expensive. 4% say no answer. Shocking. What are your thoughts about making the online paid? 41% say no choice. but to make it paid. 38% say, if possible, wish it were free. 17% say, can't say either way. And guess what? 4% say, no answer. Question 6, please state which function and modes stand out. Multiple responses were allowed for this game, so there's 14 votes for 3 different modes of playing. Shockingly, 10 votes were for the HD Rumble feature and 9 votes for the Joy-Con controllers, even though I don't give 2 shits about that, but maybe that's a developer point of view where they understand the hardware aspect behind it. 8 votes are for 2-player local play with Joy-Con remotes. I could not care less because those controllers look clunky as hell. 5 votes for motion IR camera. 4 votes for online service, including smart device app. 2 votes for local wireless play. 1 vote for one button screen capture. And for some reason, 1 vote for no answer. They just didn't want to answer this. But out of that list, for me, the one thing I'm most excited about, I kind of like the local. I know this is normal things, but I like the local wireless play that is allowed with this hybrid. I know it was in the 3DS and Vita. However, this being maybe a singular console, more powerful, more people likely to be playing this game and the games that are on it, maybe the local co-op will actually be beneficial so you have your own screen while playing it. I think that's kind of cool. But question 7, what genres do you think suit the Nintendo Switch? Multiple answers were allowed. 18 votes for RPG. 18 votes for action, 14 votes for simulation, 14 votes for puzzle, 14 votes for racing, 11 votes for adventure, 11 votes for quiz, 10 votes for simulator, not simulation, simulator, 10 votes for FPS or TPS, 7 votes for shooting, and 1 vote because they just didn't want to fucking answer again. He writes also, note, I'm guessing simulation refers to something like The Sims, while simulator refers to, for example, a Japanese train simulator game. Shooting refers to games like Gradius, Ikaruga, Space Invader, so I guess top-down. I forget the term for it. 8, what's the most important for the Nintendo Switch to catch on? 34% say solid games, 34% say system sellers, 8% say marketing, 20% say something else. I guess they don't clarify. And you guessed it, 4% say no answer. It's kind of shocking in that last question that 8% only said marketing, which I felt like was the main reason Wii U did so poorly off the gate or out of the gate, is that it had poor marketing as to what this game console was. Was it related to the Wii, or was it a separate console itself? And then solid games, I think, is obviously an important thing for the future of the Nintendo Switch. Gary, out of all of that, what struck your fancy that you thought was the most interesting?
Well, I was reading the article earlier, and I was thinking that it's interesting, like they say here, note the difference between those planning to release a Switch game and those developing Switch titles. So if you look at questions 1 and 2, it says, are you developing any games for the Nintendo Switch? And currently developing is 54%. But if you look at 2, it says, in the future, do you have plans to release any games on the Switch? And 46% say yes, they are planning to. It's interesting. What they're basically suggesting is that, there's a lot of people planning to release these games for the Switch, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to, meaning that they're probably just waiting to see how it performs once it's actually released. But what was interesting is I read a comment, actually. Once again, I'm quoting a comment, by the way.
No original thoughts from Gary. Why do I even have them? I should get the people in the comment section. Just kidding, Gary. Love you.
Well, once again, he actually supports my thoughts. Thank you. Written by C. Lupola. He says, for me, it all boils down to exclusive, which I don't see, which is why I'm not buying the system at least this year. There's nothing coming out for this year that I can't get on either the PS4, which is our primary system these days, or the Wii U. We have collecting dust in the other room. So he goes on to say more things. But basically, I feel the same exact way with this console, in that there's just no incentive for me to buy this console yet, because it doesn't offer me anything different that I can't get on my PS4. I mean, obviously there's the portability. We all got that. But as a gamer, I just like to sit down and play a game. It doesn't really provide me something different. But
I feel like, Gary, there is going to be a game coming out soon, eventually. That was just contradictory. Sometime in the future, that you're going to want to get the Nintendo Switch for, and you're going to become a Nintendo fanboy. I feel it. You're going to love the Switch. You're going to reap its praise. You're going to get rid of your PS4. You're going to get rid of everything in your house that's not Nintendo, I feel like.
Oh yeah. No, it would have to be like you said, at least, as this guy says down at the bottom, at least like 10 games. Like 10 great games. I'm like, man, like I'm missing out by not buying a Nintendo Switch. That would have to be it.
But what do you think about great games? I guess it's like subjective. Zelda is going to be a great game. Then you have Mario Kart 8 coming to the Switch.
That's great though. But what about people that aren't interested in Nintendo games? Like those
so
specific.
You're not into any of those Nintendo games at all.
There's no reason for me to play a Mario game right now. I have no interest whatsoever.
You have no interest in a Mario Kart game or a Smash game?
Zero.
A 3D Mario game?
Absolutely not. And
Fuck
that's the thing.
You!
And that's the thing.
You!
And that's the thing. I'm not the only guy out there that thinks that way. There's other people out there that aren't interested in those specific games. Like I like Mario. They're great. I mean, I have them on the Game Boy, but I couldn't care less anymore. Like
you guys have a fucked up childhood, is what it is.
Yeah.
You gotta get touched in your kid's side again. Damn it, Gary.
Maybe I'll post a picture on Twitter of my Super Mario game and my Game Boy over there that I used to play all the time. But yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you can troll the people on the internet. Say I'd rather play this than the Switch. Yeah. I'm moving on. I'm getting away from this. I don't want the fucking
different opinions
spewing from Gary right now. The wrong opinion? Come on, man. You don't like any Mario game? You don't want to play any Mario game?
No, I'm just saying they always rely on these fucking games to sell consoles. And it's like, can you please have other exclusives that are interesting besides
what they're good at. Would you want them to try a different genre and you just shit the bed? I mean, they did try a shooting game like Splatoon, which was really good.
Now hold on. You did say earlier. Now why? Now you said earlier. Are you afraid of change? You were questioning me? Am I afraid of change? Now are you? Because
no, I don't care about what Nintendo does. I'm not afraid of change. I'm not afraid of change for them. They do good things. Stick with that. I mean,
but if they're trying to sell consoles,
they branch out with these Mario games and do different things with them. They're not the same rehashed things.
No, I know that. But if someone's not interested in that genre, in that specific group of games that they have that they do very well, I will say that. But if you're not interested in that, then how are they bringing people to the console? Like, or do they have a Mass Effect style game, or do they have
I agree. They need third parties and games like that.
They need significant titles that are exclusive to their
They need the bro shooter to bring Gary in, let's be real.
No, they just need something
a fucking bro
different.
Shooter. Fuck you, Gary.
Bro shooter.
Just
Get the
kidding,
fuck out of
here. Moving on. Unfortunately, the Golden Cartridge site was down, but
what the hell?
Golden Cartridge did send us some features that they're planning on doing that are in the works. So, I picked out one. I really liked it. It's called Mutant Football League, MFL. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's actually got past its goal of $60,000. I don't know. Do we really want to read what it is? I guess I'll read the little tidbit. Mutant Football League is an NFL Blitz arcade style football game with nasty mutants, ferocious monsters, deadly chainsaws, and lots of gory player deaths, along with some edgy satirical humor that parodies America's favorite sport. Not gonna lie, this game looks awesome. I love NFL Blitz, and these games haven't been around. I haven't seen these games in forever. These types of games, and I miss them honestly. Just to have fun with these sports that just make them ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of miss exactly. I miss having fun in sports games because I feel like nowadays they're such simulation based and everything's they're trying to be too real, and it's I don't always want to be unbelievably realistic in sports games. And what's pretty funny is I'm looking down, I'm just kind of browsing through this page for this game, and they have pictures of players in the game, and it's the Shermanator, Slay, Wrath Spews, Hambonio, Crown. It's pretty funny, but I was a huge fan of the NHL Hits games because they were just so absurd. 3-on-3 action. People would actually catch fire if they scored a hat trick, or
classic.
You can check people through the glass into the stands.
Oh, you remember the turbo button when games had the turbo button?
Oh God, games? Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I miss that, and this game looks pretty awesome. I'm not even a big football fan, but this is something that I could absolutely get into for sure.
So right now it's in Steam Greenlight before it goes away, and it's also going to be releasing on PC in 2017 and PS4 and Xbox One, according to this, in 2018. I'm not sure how truthful that is, but I'll read the summary. Mutant Football League is an action football game where you pick from 14 unique teams or 3 all-star teams for online or offline gameplay in solo, co-op, or head-to-head modes. Players can win by scoring more points than the opposition or by literally decimating the opposing team, so they have to forfeit. The choice is yours. This is the next generation spiritual successor to the classic retro game Mutant League Football with beautiful 3D graphics and impressive gore effects. Also, I wanted to go through what their goals were. Right now, they got past 85,000. So they are inputting a new team. Key ones is that if they get to 95,000, so 10,000 away, playoff and mayhem mode will be added to the game. And if they get to 113, halftime mini games will be added. And then if they reach the final goal of 129,000, a full season with 13 game season with playoffs will be added to the game. That's kind of cool if they add these more features to it. I don't know how 129,000 corresponds to developing a game to add modes. I don't know, but that's what they have price point wise. So there's different options to pledge. You get different different collectible type things, or you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the word.
I'd be that troll in this game if it was like an online thing. I'd be that
just
troll
fucking
in this
hit
game.
Everybody.
Yeah, I would never score a point. I would be the only guy in the world to never score a point, but win every game because I would just hurt every single person.
You go after everybody.
Just eliminate.
It's fascinating how many people are on the team. So if like somebody goes down, do you have like a one backup to that player, or what's
I don't know. It wouldn't make sense. I think if they had backups, it would kind of ruin like the whole flow. You know, it's like
imagine if like you take out one player on the other team, and then like your team gets dwindled down, so you take out other players, so it's like it becomes like 5-on-4.
Yeah,
I wonder how that would work.
It'd be pretty intense. I feel like it could be intense.
Yeah,
your quarterback gets taken out, so you got to run the ball constantly. Just some crazy thing. I don't know.
Well, that's the news for this week, Gary. Before we go, what are you up to this weekend?
Well, man, I haven't really been able to play a lot of Battlefield and stuff lately, so I'd probably be playing a little bit more of that. It's just been such a dull gaming life lately. I have to be honest. Like I said, I haven't had much of a single player game to play, so I've really been like on the search for something interesting to kind of hold my attention for a little bit. So yeah, it's just gonna be Battlefield. Maybe get a little bit into Destiny. Maybe play a few games. It's just been so hard to get back into that bro shooter. No one plays that game anymore.
Grab Mercenaries off your shelf and play Mercenaries. I love that game.
Yeah. By the way, to clarify, Destiny is not a bro shooter anymore, considering that like thousands of people play it now. By the way, thank you very much. But yeah, I'll play. Well, Battlefield, a bro shooter. My God, such a douchebag term.
Well, Gary, you are a douchebag.
Oh, of course I am.
You're my douchebag.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be that exciting this weekend, but that's it, basically. So what are you?
I'm probably going to be playing more Neo when I hop off of recording today. Try to beat that fucking boss. She's going to be a pain in the ass. I can just tell. It may take me until the rest of the night. Who knows? Because I'm still recovering from sickness, even though I sound great right now. So I feel like I'm good to go to beat this boss. But this weekend, I'm probably going up to... This weekend, I'm going up to Jersey to do some family things. Maybe go to Atlantic City at some point, and then go skiing on President's Day. So that should be exciting. I'll try not to hurt myself. Just burped. Sorry. But other than that, that's about it for my weekend. So Gary, say bye to the folks.
Adios. Thanks for listening, everybody. As always, keep downloading the podcast, listening. We appreciate it, and I'll catch you again on Tuesday for our Tuesday episode with a new discussion topic, which has to be determined. So I'll give you a sneak peek eventually. Trust me. Adios.
Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at 2JerseyKids and tweet us with any questions or comments that you have for our Tuesday or Friday episode. We will be happy to answer them. You can email us, 2jerseykids@gmail.com. If you're a new listener and you enjoyed that, please hit that subscribe button on the podcast service app that you use. And also give us a review on whichever service app or pod service app that you use. It'd be fantastic for us. Other than that, keep playing those games, all you Jersey kids out there. We love you and appreciate you all. We keep saying this each week. If you're a continued listener, we love you so much. Keep listening to us. We're trying to get better and better as we go. So keep playing those games. We're about to head out. Hopefully, it'll be Friday finally soon, I hope. We'll be back in your ear holes by Tuesday. Have a good one, guys. Bye.